तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वृंदाई तुलसी देव्याय प्रियायै केशवास च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदम। बोलो हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So first of all, I begin offering my most humble obeisances to the dust of the lotus feet of Paramaradhatama Sri Guru Pada Padma Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Pramhamsa Paribrajacharya Ashtottara Sata Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev, and to my most worshipable Shiksha and Sannyasa Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Ashtottara Sata Srimad Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, and to all Shirupanvo Gauriya Guru Varga, to all Tridandi Sannyasis, headed by Pujapad Padmanabh Maharaj, Satyananda Maharaj, and all the assembled devotees here today, my most respectful obeisances. So by the causeless mercy of Srila Gurudev and all Mahabhagavatas Acharyas, we are able to assemble here one more time. I'm very thankful and grateful for the arrangement of Prabhu Shyamanand. Yes, Shyamanand Prabhu and his family. I'm very happy to meet you. It's first time I am coming here. It's a very beautiful house and very beautiful program, and that's a very important thing to be conscious about. It is to use our house as a temple, inviting Vaishnavas. So I think you have understood that very well. So thank you so much for arranging all this program. Hare Krishna. So Charu Chandrika Didi, she covered so many nice pastimes of Lord Nityananda, how he grew up in pilgrimage, how he went to Vrindavan, how he was feeling separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then after how he felt that Mahaprabhu was already arrived in Navadvip, was already manifested his Sankirtan pastimes, and that was the time to meet with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that meeting was very ecstatic, as she described, and I have a little bit of cold. So Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he is the most munificent incarnation of Baladev Prabhu. As we know, no Maharaj, not now, thank you. As we know, Krishna is Vadanya, Mahaprabhu is Mahavadanya, and our Guru Varga, they are Mahavadanya. So in the same way, Lord Nityananda, he is also Mahavadanya, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he is the one who has broken the dam of Krishna Prem that was being accumulated over the ages. As Lord Chaitanya, he comes to distribute something which was not given since long time. Anarpita charing chirat karunaya vatirna khalo samarpaitu munattu jalarasam swabhakti shriyam haripurata sundara duti kadamba sandipita sadharidoya khandare spura. What is that? Spuratova Sachinandanaha. So after long time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to distribute this Krishna Prem, this Shriyam, the beauty of serving Srimati Radhika. That is one of the facets of Krishna Prem. This is also Radha Prem, this is also Manjari Bhav. But Mahaprabhu himself, he was unable to give it. So via Lord Nityananda Prabhu, this dam was broken and the very Prema Nama Sankirtan started. Because the Yuga Dharma of this Dhanya Kali is not a general Nama Sankirtan. This is a very special type of Nama Sankirtan called Prema Nama Sankirtan. And Lord Nityananda was the one who was distributing this everywhere. Mahaprabhu sent him for preaching, especially here in the villages of Bengal. Lord Nityananda, he was always wandering here and there. And he was not requesting anything in exchange for his gift. He said, you just chant Krishna Nam, no matter what you do. If you're following rules or regulations or not, that doesn't matter. You just chant Krishna Nam. That's why we see so many groups of Vaishnavas in Bengal, which are not in our same standard like. Because they're all taking this mercy from Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So we should not judge them because they are sometimes smoking, sometimes drinking, sometimes doing anything like that. This is part of the uplifting process. We can be tough to ourselves, as if we are following Gurudev's rules or not, if we are following our Guru Varga's rules or not. But don't impose that to others, because Nityananda Prabhu's mercy was unlimited. He was giving that mercy to everyone. And as we know, the process is slow. Life after life, we are gradually progressing. So everyone will have this chance with Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Without Nityananda's mercy, Mahaprabhu's mercy cannot flow. Without Nityananda's mercy, we cannot have Radha Krishna. What is that bhajan? Nitayar Kuruna Habe Braje Radha Krishna Pabe. So how Nityananda can give Radha Krishna in Vrindavan? This is a very important thing to understand. I want to be brief because Maharajas, they will elaborate things much better. So I just want to touch this point. Nitayar Kuruna Habe Braje Radha Krishna Pabe. Srila Bhakti Rakshas Siddhar Goswami Maharaj is explaining that Nityananda, he is in Sakhya Rasa. He is direct Baladev Prabhu. So when we have Gaur Nitai together, what rasa is that? Sakhya Rasa. If we have Gaur Gadadhar, then that is Madhurya Rasa. So how Nityananda Prabhu, being in Sakhya Rasa, he can bestow Madhurya Rasa, he can bestow Nikunja Seva. How is it possible? So in this way we have to understand that not directly Nityananda Prabhu is giving in his very form, but through all his expansions. Because Baladev Prabhu is serving in all rasas. He is serving in Madhurya Rasa as Ananga Manjari. So Nityananda Prabhu is no different from Ananga Manjari. In that form, in that very form. That's why he can give this Radha Krishna Seva in Vrindavan. So in this way, it is very important to understand that in our Gauriya movement, there was hardly any deity of Gaur Nitai. It is Radha Krishna and Mahaprabhu. This is our Ishtadevas. That is our fix. Maybe some special places here and there you will find Gaur Nitai. But in ISKCON, they have so many Gaur Nitai deities. And that has a very beautiful speciality. That Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he told that to preach and to spread this Yuga Dharma all over the world, only by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu we can do it. And the Gaur Nitai, they are so merciful, extremely merciful, that even if you commit so many offenses, they will never take it. And they will still give you so much Krishna Prem. I heard from one of his disciples that he had a desire to even distribute on the streets deities of Gaur Nitai and make available. He said, I wanted in each and every home deity of Gaur Nitai. And he said, doesn't matter even if they are eating meat, even if they are drinking, even if they are smoking, even if they don't do any seva, they just put it them on the shelf. Still they will bestow so much mercy upon all of them. But then they came with a practical, why are you laughing? What happened?
Nothing. Sorry.
Anything?
Nothing. Sorry.
Okay. Something I said?
No.
Wrong? Okay. So, but they came with a practical situation. There was how to carry all these deities. That would be very heavy. They will not be practical and possible to distribute these deities and be carrying deities, so many deities. So therefore, they gave up this idea. But this is how Srila Prabhupada actually, not through the medium of deities, but inviting Nityananda himself, Mahaprabhu himself, to be there in the homes of everyone. And to be everywhere in this whole world, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wanted this movement to go everywhere. So this is the unlimited mercy of Lord Nityananda. Therefore, without Lord Nityananda, without worshipping Lord Nityananda, without chanting his names, without realizing his glories, then only it's not possible to receive this Gaura Prem, this Krishna Prem. So today we are trying to beg the causeless mercy of Lord Nityananda and to be somehow grateful to what he has come to distribute and to make our life successful by chanting his names, by chanting the names of Gaur Hari. Amare kiniyalo bolo Gaur Hari. Nityananda Prabhu is saying, if you want to purchase me, if you want to conquer my heart, you just chant the names of Gaur Hari. That is what Nityananda Prabhu declared. So anyway, I don't want to take so much of your time. I'm just ending here, begging the causeless mercy of all our Guru Varga, Nityananda Prabhu, and all the devotees present here. Hare Krishna Vancha Kalpatarvesha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo.
Gurve Guru Chandraya Harikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Angyana Tamrandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshu Umnitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gure Namaha Nityananda Namastubhyam Premananda Pralayale Kalo Kamasanashaya Janavapate Namo Vanchakapadruvishya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pabrimyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namastresta Manumapi Sachi Putra Matra Sarupam Rupam Tashagajam Uruparam Maturam Gostavatyam Radhakundam Girivaraho Radhika Maravashyam Prapto Yasha Pratita Krishi Gurum Tam Natosmi. Namo Mahavarnaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gaurtishe Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Siddhi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, taking shelter unlimited times, offering my sastanda pranams of my sannyas, my Harinam and Diksha Guru, Nitya Leela Varishta Master Tarasat Ashish Majla Bhaktivedanta Swami, my Shri Prabhupada, an equal number of sastanda pranams at the lotus feet of my Shiksha and Sannyas Guru Devas, Nitya Leela Varishta Master Tarasat Ashish Majla Bhaktivedanta, Narayan Goswami Raj, and Nitya Leela Varishta Master Tarasat Ashish Majla Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Raj, all our Shiksha and Rupanuga Guru Acharyas in line of Sri Chaitanya Prabhu, all the assembled Vaishnavas, headed by Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Padmanaraj and Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Mahavir Maharaj. Dhanava pranams. Wow. 3 ecstatic celebration days. So we're so fortunate to be able to glorify such a personality as Nityananda. And we can touch on a drop of his glories, but it's so unlimited. Nityananda Prakash, Akhanda Guru Tattva. Nityananda, Baladev Tattva, Nityananda Prabhu comes to all of us. He comes to all of us in the form of Shri Guru. So we all have that Nityananda Prakash before us, Akhanda Guru Tattva, in the presence of our beloved Guru Maharaj. So, first I want to ask one question. It was very nice listening to Charachandra Didi with the pastimes of Lord Nityananda. So when she was discussing in Ekra Chakra, when Nityananda was 12 years old, when Sannyasi was visiting Hadai Pandit and Padmavati, and when he was asked, what would you like? He said, oh, your son is very beautiful and very not only handsome, but he's very qualified, and he would make a good servant for my travels and pilgrims. So, who knows who this sannyasi was?
I was wondering that.
Some say Lakshmi Pati.
Some say. I've heard 3 different things. Some say Madhavendra Puri, but this morning I listened to Srila Prabhupada giving Nityananda Trayodasi glories, and also Gaur Govinda Maharaj and Srila Narayan Maharaj. So I think it was Gaur Govinda Maharaj said that he is Nityananda's other expansion, Mahaprabhu's other guru, other brother, Vishwarup, Sankaranya Puri, Sannyasi, Sankaranya Puri. I just as a side note.
Who said that? Who said that?
I believe it was Gaur Govinda Maharaj. So, also in Ekar Chakra is a very wonderful Leela Stali and Janmastan not Janmastan of Shri Nityananda Prabhu, but also in the pastimes in the Mahabharata is explained how when the 5 Pandavas were traveling, then they traveled to Ekar Chakra. So there at Ekar Chakra, the big, very pious villagers, there had been one demon, actually it's also Bakasura, I think by the name of Bakasura. So this demon was very powerful, and he was indiscriminately killing so many villagers as food. So they made a pact with this demon, and they said, oh, please don't just indiscriminately slaughter so many of us. He said, we will make a deal with you that was it once a month or once a day? I think every so often, one family would prepare a big feast, and it would be packed on a wagon, and that would be taken to the demon, and one of the sons of that family would volunteer to be the demon's food also. So when the Pandavas that were there, it was the turn of the family, and I think the name of the family was I forget the name of the family. So the person came to their house and said, now it is your turn, your family's turn to feed the demon a big feast, and one of your sons needs to be sacrificed. And they all became completely morose. And the Pandavas, Queen Kuti, she understood this, and she said, oh, what is the problem? And they explained to the whole history of having to feed this demon, and now it was that family's turn. she said, no problem. You've been so kind to us and shown us so much hospitality. We feel so indebted to you. No problem. I have 5 cents. You only have 2 or 3. I forget how many. So she says, I will send my son Bhima. So she knew Bhima, and it would be no problem for him. So they talked back and forth, but finally they agreed, and so they made a huge feast. It was explained it was like thousands of kilos of rice and so many preparations. And Bhima saw this, and he took the cart, and on the way he was just gobbling up all the prasadam. There's so many preparations. And then when he got to that place where the demon was, the demon realized, because he realized this person is taking my food. Who is this? And so he uprooted a big tree and smashed it on Bhima, which caught it. Bhima just caught that tree, uprooted other trees, and there was a big fierce battle between those personalities. And finally, Bhima just smashed him, and he was finished. So Arjuna had been somewhere traveling because at that time Bhima was the only brother that was there with Kunti to protect Kunti. But so after some time, Arjuna came back, and he said, "Oh no, my brother has gone to meet this demon. I want to go after and also help him. He might need my help." So on the way there, he thought, "Oh, I'm never going to get there in time." So he released I forget what the name of the arrow that he shot. It was a serpent arrow. So, and then finally he got there, and he saw that he met Bhima, and Bhima said, "No, I already killed the demon." And Arjuna said, "Well, I have to keep going. You go back to Mother Gopi. I have to keep going and retrieve my arrow that I shot, because it'll be a powerful serpent." Anyway, it's a long story. Then he went there, and anyway, there's a big long story like that. I don't want to get into that. So this village of Ekatraka is very powerful. That's where Lord Nityananda took birth in the family of Haidai Pandit and Padmavati. Then, as Charachandrika explained, then he came and met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nanda and Acharya's home. So there were so many different pastimes of Nityananda and Mahaprabhu. Heno Nitai Bine by Radha Krishna Paite Nai. By the mercy of Lord Nityananda, we can actually enter into Radha and Krishna's seva, and his manifestation as an Angamanjari under the guidance of Lalita Sakri, when she sees someone interested in this goal of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, which is become a maidservant of Srimati Radharani, like we used to pray. It's very high prayer that Prabhupada gave us in Tulsi Puja in the morning. And many Gaudiya Mas don't sing that. So, Radha Krishna Seva Pavoye Aviyalas. I want to be a Saki of a maid, and be a maidservant of Radha Krishna. So, under the guidance of Lalita and that Gaon, actually Nityananda, Ananga Manjari, she's not a Manjari, that's her name, but she's actually a Saki. So we take shelter of Rupa Manjari, who's also in the Gaon of Lalita Manjari, and also Ananga Manjari is there. Is she a group leader herself, Ananga Manjari? I forget, but I was told that she's also in Lalita Gaon. So there are many transcendental glories of Nityananda, and one most famous. How many here have been in the play of Nityananda and Mahaprabhu delivering Jagai Madai? There was so many. So It's amazing. Every time there's a play, the person who plays Jagamairai, they really get into being drunk. And then, but Mahaprabhu realizes that Jagai Marai have injured his brother Nityananda and comes immediately and wants to finish them off. Takes up his Sudarshan chakra, etc. Because Nityananda, he was accompanied by Haridas Thakur to go door to door in Nadia, as we sang, Nadia, Nadia go drume Nityananda Mahajan Pariyachena Mata Jivara Karan. So they're going door to door, but the two brothers, Jagai and Marai, they wanted them to stop this. And at first they got away, but then the next time, and Haridas Thakur, right? So I'm an old man. I can't run as fast as you. So anyway, we know that the pastime of Jagai Marai, actually it was Jagai that took up the pot and struck Nityananda with it. And Nityananda was just very merciful and tolerant, but the word reached Mahaprabhu and he came and he wanted to finish them off. And then he was reminded that in this age you have not come to kill the demons. Pritranaya saranam vinashaya duruskritam dharmasam starpanataya sambhavani yuge. You have not come to kill the demons, but to deliver them with your mercy. Kill their demoniac desires. So very powerful pastime, and Nityananda petitioned Mahaprabhu, don't kill them, deliver them, and then Mahaprabhu told Nityananda, they have already been delivered because of your mercy. So Nityananda Prakash, Akanda Guru Tattva, Paramananda Nityananda Mahajan. So Parama Karuna. So also that in the Kirtan of Nityananda Astakam, I think by, who's Nityananda Astakam? By Vrindavanas Thakur. Right? So Nityananda approached Mahaprabhu and said, in this age of Kali, there's so much nonsense personalities, so much, it's such a degraded age, and these personalities here are so fallen. So how will these personalities be delivered? How will you show them your mercy? So, and then ultimately Nityananda declared that whoever incessantly chants these holy names, I personally take upon the responsibility, I give you a warranty, a guarantee, that I will take personal, it'll be my personal service to deliver you. Simply always chant the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. And Maharaj has spoken how in this age of Kali, there's so many Kali Yugas, but this is Danya Kali. Even the demigods are praying to take birth in this Kali Yuga, Danya Kali, to get the mercy of Nityananda Mahaprabhu in this age of Kali. So very, very powerful mercy is there for us. So, and personally Nityananda has spoken these words that he takes it upon him. So there's different levels of Vaishnavas. Kanishta Vaishnavas is understood, and I forget in the 11th canto the verse, that you can tell a Vaishnava that is on the Kanishta level because sometimes he is taking the holy name. Acharya?
Well, that's Chaitanya Charitamrita definition.
What?
That's the Chaitanya Charitamrita definition.
Yeah. Oh, did I say Bhagavatam?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then the highest level of Vaishnava, simply by seeing, one automatically chants the holy name. So we're aspiring, I'm aspiring to one day become a Madhyam. So Madhyam Vaishnava is known that he's is incessantly chanting the holy names of the Lord. We know that the holy name is both the means and the goal combined. It's the prayojan and it's also the abhideya. Right now we're chanting Nam Aparad, but how do we become relieved from Nam Aparad? How do we become relieved from offenses to the holy name? By chanting the holy name, more chanting. Harinam, 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 Eva Kevalam. So, in this way, Mahaprabhu delivered so many persons, and he's petitioning us and come to us in the form of our beloved Guru Maharaj, and our life becomes perfect when we attend programs such as this in the association of Vaishnavas and hear Harikatha, especially from the lips of Sudha Vaishnavas. Like this morning, it was amazing. Like now, the Kali Yuga has a benefit too, in the age we're in. This morning, I was seeing videos on YouTube and also MP3s on the internet, and we can, I heard my Gurudev's 2 classes on Nityananda Trayodasi, and then I heard Gaur Govinda Maharaj, a class he gave on Nityananda Trayodasi, and then on the way here I had earphones on my scooter and I was listening to Gurudev speak about Nityananda Trayodasi. So we can always be hearing and chanting, and this causing us to remember. And when Nityananda was very young in Ekachakra, he was amazing. His brothers and his friends and associates, that he was so expert at performing these leelas in such a wonderful way. So it's very, very, very powerful. Oh, one other question on as Charachandrika spoke. Who knows the devotee? Now Nityananda mentioned it when he was playing this pastime in Ram Leela as Lakshman. He said that in case I lose consciousness, you know that you can revive me if you go to the Himalayas and retrieve the Sanjeevani medicine. Who knows who went and they had to remember the players about this, because they were so caught up with Mahaprabhu, with Nityananda being unconscious, that they completely forgot his instructions what to do if this happened. So who remembers the name of the devotee that as Hanuman went to get that Sanjeevani or that medicine? I heard that it was Murai Gupta. Anyway.
This is when they're kids, right?
Right. But I heard it was anyway. The person that was playing Hanuman went to get that, and then they brought it back, and it revived Nityananda. So in this way, we pray to Lord Nityananda today. Akhanda Guru Tattva, Nityananda Prakash, Baladev Tattva. The glories of Balaram. Unlimited, how he is Baladev. He's the spiritual power. If we want to have spiritual power, if we want to be always absorbed in ecstasy, Ananda, Paramananda, then we take shelter of Nityananda. So it's a very powerful day to receive these blessings. Baladev is Sandhini Shakti, as she mentioned, and also Krishna is Chit Shakti, knowledge potency, and Radharani herself is Ananda, the pleasure potency, Nanda Shakti. So such a powerful possibility. We're here in the holy name, we're here in the holy Dham. It's amazing that we're here. Just the fact we're here. I mean, I don't know about you, but I have to pinch myself many times and think, my God, I'm in the holy Dham. I'm going to, like I just came from Govardhan, and doing Govardhan Puja, Govardhan Parikram, Govinda Kun, Radha Kun, and now we're here in Navadvip Dham, Mayapur Dham, Ishodja Dhyan, Taranpur. So many pastimes. Bavar-go, Janato, Bavar-go, Janato, Yada, Chanasha Charchuta Satsamangamo, Satsangamo Tadaiva Sarva Sakato, Paravareshi Jayati Reti Hari. When we come in contact with Akhanda Guru Tattva, Nityananda Prakash, and the Sutta Bhakta in that line, it is significant, and it means that actually that we're very close to emancipating ourselves once and for all from this process of repeated birth and death, which we've been going through for 84 lakhs of species. So we're so fortunate. Now we have to remember that fortune and diligently try to chant the holy name very, very deeply from the core of our heart, crying out. Gaura Govinda Maharaj said we should open a school for chanting and the holy name, and following the instructions of our Gurudev, who hasn't left us. He's present by those instructions, and following them, we always remain in that association. Vanchakalpadrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
So did we have many songs that we sang?
Sing quite a few.
Okay, let me ask you if you sing.
We didn't sing Nita Karakamala.
You didn't? Oh, really? Oh my God, then we have to sing that. That's the main one. There it is. We have a gong?
No.
Gongless. This is a gongless Grihastha ashram. What is this? I'm asking for a gong. Okay, do we have any other bigger kartals? Well, okay.
We also have a bar of this too.
Who will play kartals good? Who plays good kartals? This is too much. I think yeah. Here.
This way.
Yeah. Okay. So the two lotus feet of Nitai are what? As cooling as what? Millions of moons. Nitai Padakamalam Koti Chandra Sushi Tala. Why do we need cooling? Because samsara dava nalalidha loka. Because we're burning in the forest fire of material existence. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur has said, you want relief? Nitai's lotus feet are cooling. They will cool every single speck of your existence, your being. Everything will be cooled. Yes. And not only that, Yechayai Jagata Jurai, the whole universe can get this shade from the lotus feet of Nitai. Heno Nitai Vine Bai, Radha Krishna Paite Nai. If you don't take shelter of the personality of Nityananda Prabhu, can you reach Radha and Krishna? Is it possible without Nityananda? Can you bypass him or in some way not utilize his divine personality to make your approach to Radha and Krishna? No, you cannot. Directly said by Narottam Das Thakur twice in this song. Twice. Heno nitai vine bai Radha Krishna paitenai. So therefore, since that is the case, what should we do? Dridha kori daro nitair pai. What does that mean? That means you should take hold of those two lotus feet very firmly. Very firmly. So let's sing this beautiful song. Nitai pada kamala koti chandra shushitala Nitai pada kamala koti chandra shushitala Nitai pada kamala koti chandra sushitala Nitai pada ye chaya Radha Krishna Paitena Dridha Kori Dharo Nitai Dridha Kori Dharo Nitai Dridha Kori Se sambandha nahi jar Vriddha janma gelo tar Se sambandha nahi jar Se pashu oboro durachar Vedya kule ki koribe tar Vedya kule ki koribe tar Vedya kule ki koribe tar Ahankare makta hoya Nitai pada pakariya Ahankare makta hoya Nitai pada pakariya Asakre Satya Kori Mani Satya Kori Mani Satya Kori Mani Nitayer karuna habe Raje Radha Krishna habe Ab Raje Radha Krishna habe Dharo Nitay Charana Dukani Dharanita Charana Dukani Dharanita Charana Dukani Dharanita Charana Nitayer charana satya tahara sevaka nitya Nitayer charana satya tahara sevaka nitya Nitay pada sada toro asha Nitay pada sada toro asha Karo kamo karo suki Nitay more karo suki Karo kamo karo suki Nitay more karo suki Rako rangar kora tera Rako rangar kora tera mata Nitay pada kamala sukitan sukimaya Nitay pada kamala sukitan sukimaya Ekaya Nityananda Radhe Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande. Shri Nityananda Mahaprabhu ki, Nityananda Mahaprabhu ki, Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. So on Nityananda Prabhu's transcendental appearance day, we have to chant his name and we have to sing his glories. If we don't do that, then we'll continue rotating that's what Narottam Das Thakur says. So we have to take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. And you know why, especially for us in Western bodies in this life? Why we should take shelter of Lord Nityananda? Because he's the one who came to us in the form of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Yes. Absolutely. How do we know that? Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, the greatest authority in all of the Gaudiya Mat in Siddhanta, he has stated that fact. He has examined his activities, and he also knew him for many, many years before he went to the West. And when he read that prayer that he wrote on the Jaladuta, then he understood what is what. And what is the what? I'll tell you what the what is. That he felt himself so empty. Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, he made himself so empty of any other desire than what? Only one. What was that desire? To fulfill the order of his spiritual master. That's all. But he felt himself to be completely incapable. Really, Prabhupada felt himself to be completely incapable. And his mood was that of begging. Both prayers. The prayer on the Jaladuta as it was moving, the prayer in Boston Harbor. There he stated completely. And in the prayer on the Jaladuta he said, I am not doing this. Is my spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He is the great Mahant Guru, by whose desire this mission will spread throughout the entire world. I am only his tiny little, trying to become his servant. You see? So Srila Sridhar Maharaj told at that time, it's recorded. He said, this cannot be done by any ordinary, even guru or acharya, he told. Therefore, there has to have been that such a miracle could be performed to bring this message to the entire world. For the very first time. No one ever heard of Krishna anywhere around the world, except in India, or a few scholars here and there. That's it. He brought the holy names, who also talked about his chanting the holy names, because he was on the highest level of chanting the holy names. That vibration which came from his lotus mouth upon reaching the shores, upon reaching the ears of just ordinary, mundane, sense-enjoyer, Kali Yuga hippies and beatniks and whatever else. And it awakened in them. Their hearts were awakened. Their hearts were awakened by that transcendental sound vibration. But who empowered that transcendental sound vibration in Srila Prabhupada? Nityananda Prabhu. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj declared, therefore I declare him to be Shakti Avesh Avatar. Otherwise it's not possible to do this. Then from the side, one of his very senior disciples asked him, O Guru Maharaj, which particular Shakti? Because he didn't say. When he first said Shaktivesh. But which particular Shakti? Then he says Nityananda Shakti. It cannot but be. So when we read Chaitanya Bhagavat, all the pastimes of Lord Nityananda with Mahaprabhu, and then we see how ecstatic, how merciful is Lord Nityananda. This morning I read like 5, 6, 7 songs in the songbook in that section. And talking there. Lochan Das Thakur and the other acharyas, they're singing these glories of Nityananda Prabhu again and again. They're mentioning the same thing, that Akroda Paramananda Nityananda Roy. He was completely free from any anger. Abhimana Shunya Nitai Nagare Berai. Abhiman, you know Abhiman? That's what the conditioned souls have the big problem with, is called Abhiman. My sense of who I am. My Abhiman. I am this, I am that, I am this. But Nityananda Prabhu, he's Baladev himself. Who's Baladev? If you read the first chapter of Chaitanya Bhagavat, then Vrindavan Das Thakur goes extensively into explaining about Nityananda. Why? Because he's a disciple of Nityananda Prabhu. And he's pointing it out right from the very beginning of narrating the pastimes fully of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life and his teachings also. Nityananda Prabhu is the Akhanda Guru Tattva. Why? Because Baladev is the Akhanda Guru Tattva. Who did we hear this from? Our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj. How this term, Akhanda Guru Tattva. All gurus, Sakshad Haritvena Samashta Shastri. All gurus are extensions of Baladev Prabhu. Because Baladev Prabhu is the original guru. And Baladev Prabhu is actually Krishna himself. And Vrindavan Das Thakur makes the point. He wants to make it very clear that Baladev is no less than Krishna. Krishna himself. And what proof does he give? That Baladev, only he could come to Braj. Only he could give comfort and soothing the extreme pain of separation of the gopis. Only Baladev could do that. And Baladev also danced Ras. Can any other avatar of Krishna, any other expansion avatar, can they dance Ras Leela in Braj? No. Only Baladev. So that Baladev, who has a very extraordinary personality, that he's actually Ananta Shesh. He's manifested as Ananta Shesh, who's always glorifying Krishna, but he can never reach the end. He has that problem, that he goes on and on and on, but he can never reach the end of the glories of Krishna. Never. Ananta. Shesh. But how does he serve Krishna? In every single way. Ananta Shesh, Baladev Prabhu, serves Krishna as his sofa or his couch, his bed, as his umbrella, as his shoes, all the different articles that are used to serve the Supreme Lord. That is an expansion of Baladev. Where do all the jivas come from? Especially in the spiritual sky, those Nitya Siddha jivas. They're emanations of Baladev Prabhu. But in Madhurya Rasa, then also Srimati Radhika also expands. You see? So Baladev, you can't get more VIP than Baladev. There is no one else. So he came together with Krishna. When Krishna descended, taking the beautiful color and mood and kanti, everything of Srimati Radhika, Baladev also descended. And what was his position as Nityananda? His position was to be completely avadut, completely always overwhelmed in ecstasy. He's blind. He does not see any fault. He does not see any disqualification. If that was the case, then he would have not done what he did with Jagai and Madhai, okay? But this is the point that Srila Sridhar Maharaj is making, that particular Shakti of Nityananda Prabhu, this is the mood in which our Srila Prabhupada brought this to the Western world. And also all the following acharyas. This is the mood. That every jiva should be given the holy names of Krishna. And how did Baladev Prabhu as Nityananda, how did he do that? He personally went on his lotus feet, door to door to door, in all the villages. I'm going to read to you one section that's very, very nectar, very enlivening, of when Mahaprabhu sat with Nityananda in Puri. This is after some years when all the devotees were coming from Bengal, and Nityananda Prabhu was also coming. But at one point then Mahaprabhu sat with Nityananda Prabhu, and we'll hear what Mahaprabhu told to him, that now you should not come every year. Now you have to go there. Now you will have to go and give this praying to everyone. Only you can do it. And that's the rest of Nityananda Prabhu's manifest presence in this world. He spent most of his time there in Bengal, where we are now. Yes. And we also know, we have the beautiful book of Navadvip Dham Mahatmya. How many of you have read Navadvip Dham Mahatmya? Raise your hand if you've read that book. Okay, those who have not read it, have to read it, because now the parikrama is coming. It's a small, pocket-sized book Srila Narayan Maharaj gave. And there is the description of the parikrama of Navadvip Dham, of Nityananda Prabhu, and who was he bringing along with him? Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami, when he was very young, he came to Navadvip, and he met Nityananda there. And Jiva Goswami was taken mercifully by Nityananda Prabhu to each and every one of the 9 islands, and heard the katha from Nityananda's lotus mouth. So Nityananda Prabhu is the Dham. Baladev Prabhu is the Dham. So this movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this Sankirtan movement, it was inaugurated not just by Mahaprabhu, but by both of them. That's why the first sloka of the Chaitanya Bhagavat is telling there, I'm forgetting the first words, you remember that? Lambata Bujo, Ajanu Lambata Bujo, Kanakavadato, Sankirtanaika Pitaro, Kamalaya Taksho, Vishwambaro Dvijavaro Yugadharma Palo, Bande Jagat Priyakaro, Karunavataro. So Ajanu Lambata Bujo, and the ending of each one of these is the letters in English AU, O. Why? Because it denotes two. Not singular, not plural, but double, two. So it's referring, that first shloka is referring to who? Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. And each and every statement made there is applying to both. So Ajanu Lambata Bujo, you know what that means? That means that their arms are very long, like spiritual bodies have longer arms that go below their knees, that touch below their knees, their fingers. Ajanu Lambata Bujo. So they both had these features. That's why it's not, when we see paintings or pictures of Gaur Nitai dancing together and so forth, you see that Nityananda is almost same as Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Gauranga Mahaprabhu very tall, very tall. But Nityananda Prabhu was also. So these two personalities, even from the moment that they met, and that's a whole story. I think you probably told that today. Did you tell that? How they met? Yeah, and you told how Nityananda Prabhu became so ecstatic, and how he was going completely mad in ecstasy, and like 10 people could not hold him down. He was like trembling and all ecstatic symptoms coming just upon seeing Mahaprabhu. That's how dedicated Lord Nityananda is to Mahaprabhu. But then, when he was in that condition, then Mahaprabhu came and embraced it. Immediately he became still. Immediately he became very calm. So Nityananda is the servant of Mahaprabhu. And Nityananda is Sri Guru Tattva. And Nityananda is teaching us how to serve Krishna by serving Krishna's pure devotees, by serving the Guru Parampara like this. We cannot bypass. We cannot go direct to Krishna. We have to go through the authorized channel of the Sri Gaudiya Sampradaya, in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is at the head. So there are many branches coming down from Mahaprabhu, and many of those branches are also still currently going on, like a big family, you see. We are all in the Gaur Paribar, family of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And the chief personality is Nityananda in that Paribar. So I want to read some very sweet nectar for you, for your ears today. And but as soon as I start looking for the sweet nectar, and I think, well, there's so many pages. Then I just, even just the page before, and then the page after, and then it goes on and on and on. So this is our biggest problem in life, is not being able to drink all the nectar. That's our biggest problem, okay? If we solve that problem, all of our other problems are solved. So today we'll make a little attempt. Now, one day in Jagannath Puri, Gaur Sundar, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is now manifested in human form, he was sitting in a secluded place conversing with Nityananda. And the Lord said to Nityananda Prabhu, "O exalted one, dear Nityananda, please listen. You must return to Navadvip immediately. In my own words, I have promised. I will drown every ignorant," this is what Mahaprabhu promised in his own words, and he's telling that to Nityananda, that I have promised that I will drown every ignorant, wretched, fallen soul in the deluge of Krishna Prem. Mahaprabhu made that promise. However, if you also take to the reclusive life, and you discard your indomitable enthusiasm to propagate the chanting of the holy name, then who will deliver these fallen souls? Mahaprabhu asked to Nityananda. You are the storehouse of devotional mellows, distributing divine love to everyone. If you withdraw within yourself, away from these activities, then what was the necessity of your appearance on this planet? In my opinion, I think that you should go immediately to Bengal and relieve the sufferings of the conditioned souls by showering them with attraction for devotional service. Showering them with what? Attraction for what?
Devotional service.
Yes. Now, on receiving these instructions from the Lord, Nityananda Prabhu started for Bengal with all his devoted associates. Did he waste any time? Like, I'm going to hang out here in Puri for a little while. No, immediately he started for Bengal with his personal associates. These associates, these elevated souls, were Ram Das, Gadadhar Das, Raghunath Vaidya, Krishna Das Pandit, Parameshwari Das, Purandar Pandit. These personalities were with him. And on the way, Sri Nityananda was the first to be overcome with spiritual ecstasy. This spiritual mood then infected all his other associates. And first they were filled with wonderment seeing Nityananda. However, soon they were also experiencing unlimited divine bliss. Ramdas, a stalwart amongst the Vaishnavas, he was imbued with the spiritual mood of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna himself. All at once, right in the middle of the road, he stood like Gopal, bent in three places for almost an hour, oblivious of his surroundings. Who was that? This is Ramdas. Then Gadadhar Das, another associate, he was overcome with the mood of Srimati Radharani. And laughing in the sweetest peals, he said, "Who wants to buy yogurt?" Then Raghunath Vaidya was draped in the sublime personality of Mother Revati. Parameshwari Das and Krishna Das were both experiencing the mood of Gopal and the cowherd boys. And they began to make sounds like their mouths as if herding the cows. Then Purandar Pandit climbed up on a tree. Shouting, he said, "I am Angada!" And he jumped down in a leap from the branches. Then Sri Nityananda infused into everyone's heart the ecstatic experience of exhilarating spiritual moods. They traveled like this for a few miles, and sometimes going to the left, sometimes to the right, without any particular discretion. And after a while they asked the local people, "Please tell us how we can reach the Ganga." And they replied, "Oh goodness, you have already come too far. You must go back a distance of 2 hours." Then they changed direction according to the direction of the locals, and they traveled for a while in the right direction. But again, after some distance, they got aimlessly lost in their mood of ecstasy. They had to stop someone and ask them for proper direction. And again they were directed, "Oh, you have to travel another 20 miles to the left." Now realizing their confusion, looking at each other, they laughed, and they embarked once more on their journey. They had forgotten the existence of their own bodies, what to speak of remembering the right direction. So unconcerned about the needs of the body, such as thirst, hunger, fear, and distress, they were always experiencing great joy. And who can describe the transcendental activities of Sri Nityananda as he traveled? They are inexhaustible and unlimited. Now finally, they arrived at Panihati. You know Panihati? What happened in that village of Panihati? Raghunath Das Goswami came there, and then Nityananda Prabhu told him, "You have to hold a big festival." And what was that festival called? Chira Dahi, like flat rice and yogurt. So they finally arrived at Panihati village on the banks of the river Ganga, and Sri Nityananda went first to the house of Sri Raghava Pandit. Yes. And he put up there with all his devotees. Now Raghava Pandit, Sri Makaradvaj Khan, and their families, they were very happy to receive their most exalted guests, who remained there for a few days. And in that wonderful atmosphere, Nityananda and his devotees felt always spiritually exhilarated. And occasionally, Nityananda would loudly roar out his appreciation. Once, Nityananda Prabhu strongly felt within himself the spiritual urge to dance. Then suddenly, all the devotee singers began to appear there. Sri Madhava Ghosh, the famous kirtan singer, arrived. His kirtan singing was the best in the whole world. He was known as the singer from Vrindavan because he was especially expert in singing about the Lord's Vrindavan pastimes, which were the favorite kirtans of Sri Nityananda. Sri Nityananda danced with such ecstatic abandon that the earth, it reeled under his weight. Because he's who? He's Baladev. Roaring sounds like thunder incessantly issued from his mouth. And when he fell crashing to the ground, people stood back in amazement. And when his merciful glance fell upon any person, would you like to have Nityananda Prabhu's merciful glance fall upon you? Well, this is what's going to happen to you if that takes place. When his merciful glance fell upon any person, that fortunate soul was instantaneously infused with the divine Krishna Prem, which would cause the recipient to fall to the ground swooning. Sri Nityananda is the embodiment of the highest spiritual love. and he has advented simply to alleviate the suffering due to the ignorance in this world. And while dancing, he manifested all the different ecstatic symptoms of divine love. And finally, upon the request of the devotees, he sat down upon the throne of Sri Vishnu to be bathed. Nityananda. Sri Raghava Pandit and the other eternal associates of Sri Nityananda immediately prepared for the Abhishek bathing ceremony. They assembled hundreds of pots filled with Ganga water, and they perfumed it with delicate aromas. And with gladdened hearts, the devotees one by one poured water over Sri Nityananda's head, and all the while they chanted the holy name of the Lord and appropriate mantras. Could you imagine being present at the bathing ceremony of Nityananda? How beautiful is Lord Nityananda. All those devotees felt divine exhilaration surge through their persons. And after the Abhishek, they clothed him with fresh new clothes. And they decorated him with sandalwood paste, and they covered his full broad chest with garlands of fragrant wildflowers and tulsi leaves. They then sat him upon an ornate golden throne of Vishnu, which was draped with flower garlands and leaves. And as Sri Nityananda sat down, Raghava Pandit went behind the throne, and he held an open umbrella over his head. The whole house now began to reverberate with the jubilant sound of human voices, chanting the holy name, mingled with melodious musical instruments, and lifting their arms and begging the Lord to protect them. The devotees forgot all their cares and their worries and even their own bodies. And Sri Nityananda, now totally steeped in the ecstasy of his own divine self, he glanced all around, emanating Krishna Prem from his eyes. He's emanating Krishna Prem from his eyes, and he showered the assembled devotees with his merciful teardrops. He called Raghava Pandit, and he ordered, "Dear Raghava Pandit, right this moment, go and bring me a garland of Kadamba flowers. I am very fond of Kadamba flowers. In fact, I am always attracted to stay in a forest of Kadambas." And with folded hands, Sri Raghava Pandit replied, "Oh my Lord, this is not the season for Kadambas." Now I'll give you a guess. Is that going to make a difference? Whether it was the season or not for Lord Nityananda to get Kadamba flowers? Well, just listen to how they manifested. So then the Lord gently pressed on him and he said, "Go and look carefully in the garden. Maybe a few can be seen blooming somewhere," Nityananda told him. Then Sri Raghava Pandit went inside the house to the courtyard garden, and he was very astonished to see what met his eyes. Fresh and lovely what? What are they? Yes, fresh and lovely Kadamba flowers were blooming gleefully upon his lemon tree, not on his Kadamba tree. The flowers were a beautiful hue, and they gave out the sweetest fragrance. In fact, these extraordinary flowers would destroy all the material attachments of anyone. Do you want to smell those flowers? Are you ready for all your material all of your material attachment? Are you ready for all of your material attachments to be completely destroyed?
Yes.
Oh really? Oh really? We'll test you. Go out and get some Kadamba flowers. Now, anyone who looked at them, not smelled the Kadamba flowers, anyone who looked at them, their material attachments would be completely destroyed. Sri Raghava Pandit was beside himself with joy as he beheld this supramundane phenomenon. And he quickly gathered the Kadamba flowers, and he deftly strung them into a garland, bringing it before Sri Nityananda. Sri Nityananda was greatly pleased to see the Kadamba garland, and he wore it around his neck. Then the Vaishnavas became intoxicated by the heady aroma of the flowers, and they were fascinated by this miracle. Yet soon yet another miracle took place. I wonder what that miracle will be. Suddenly, the whole room was fragrant with a new scent. The delectable fragrance of Dhammanaka flowers filled the air, captivating everyone's mind. And laughing aloud, Nityananda teased everyone, saying, "Tell me, which flavor smells like that?" Then the devotees replied with folded hands, "The air carries the delightful scent of Dhammanaka." Then, letting everyone speak first, then Nityananda finally revealed to them a great secret. Are you ready to hear the great secret? He said with overflowing compassion, he says, "Pay good attention to this very mysterious happening. Sri Chaitanya has come from Nilachala and is present here, and he has come now to hear your kirtan. He is laden with the Dhammanaka flower garlands that he is wearing around his neck, and he has entered the form of a tree. Thus the scent from his divine garlands is now permeating everywhere. He has come personally from Puri to hear your kirtan and to witness your dancing. Therefore, all of you now leave everything else aside and just constantly chant the holy names of Krishna. Let the nectar of the wonderful activities of Sri Krishna Chaitanya infuse you with Krishna Prem." Now, after thus revealing this transcendental happening, Sri Nityananda began to roar loudly and to chant, "Hari Hari!" What did he chant? Hari Hari! And he glanced over everyone, his vision emanating sublime love of Krishna. Then the devotees, touched by the infinitely tender glance of the Lord, were instantaneously transported to a region transcending the mundane plane of physical awareness. Dear readers, please try to comprehend the extraordinary potency of Sri Nityananda. This is Vrindavan Das Thakur now telling us, try to comprehend the extraordinary potency of Sri Nityananda, how he inundated the entire planet with the knowledge and the taste of devotional service to the Supreme Lord. The super excellent mood of devotional surrender of the damsels of Vrindavan as described in Srimad Bhagavatam was facilely made available to the whole world by the mercy of Sri Nityananda. Lord Nityananda was sitting on the throne, and all the devotees sang and danced in front of him. And some of the devotees, unable to contain their surging glee, they climbed up a tree. They began to move about playfully on the tender branches and twigs, but miraculously no one fell. And others roared thunderously in the bliss of praying, and they jumped down from the trees. And there were others who circled their arms around a tree trunk, and they uprooted the whole tree, all the while loudly chanting what? Hari Hari! And some became so surcharged with such immense spiritual strength that they ran to a nearby row of betel nut trees, and putting their arms around a number of them, uprooted them all at once, as if they were a bunch of grass. Nitai Chanda Ki! The extraordinary potency of Sri Nityananda to infuse the devotees with blissful love of Krishna was so dynamic that their bodies began manifesting all the ecstatic symptoms of prem as described in the Srimad Bhagavatam: crying, shivering, being stunned, perspiring profusely, horripilation, roaring, hoarseness, turning pale, and so on. Wherever Lord Nityananda glanced, he showered the nectarine rains of devotional ecstasy. As his transcendental glance rested upon any devotee, that devotee was instantaneously injected with divine love, and he fell swooning to the ground, unaware of his actions and state of dress. Magnetically drawn to the divine person of the Lord, the devotee stretched out in an attempt to reach him. Lord Nityananda, a perfect picture of contentment, remains seated on his throne, smiling benignly. All his main associates, became imbued with extraordinary spiritual potency and mystic opulence. They became omniscient, and their every word became true. Their features flowered into the beautiful attractiveness of Cupid, and whomever they touched became electrified with the divine spiritual energy, forgetting even their own bodies, what to speak of any attachment to mundane time, place, and circumstances. Sri Nityananda spent 3 months in Panihati. And what happened? He spent 3 months in Panihati performing transcendental pastimes with his associates, thus revealing the sublime nature of bhakti, devotional service. The 3 months passed quickly, carrying the devotees in the waves of divine ecstasy. Then, unconcerned about their physical needs, they sang and danced, forgetful of hunger and sleep. The whole village of Panihati was heaved upon waves of jubilation that all the Vedas would find difficult to fully describe. In truth, what Lord Nityananda would do in the span of an hour, listen to this, what Lord Nityananda would do in the span of an hour is practically impossible for anyone to narrate exhaustively. Think about that. 1 hour. No one can narrate what he did in that 1 hour. He would dance in a stately manner, surrounded by the devotees, and then suddenly he might decide to sit upon the throne and then order the devotees to dance before him, one by one. And during each dance performance of the devotees, many incidents occurred. The dancing would inspire transcendental loving emotion amongst the watching devotees, drowning them in a deluge of Krishna Prem. Sometimes, when the ecstasy had reached an apex, all the spectator devotees, they would fall swooning. They'd look like a cluster of banana trees being uprooted in a storm. The devotees joyfully did as directed by Nityananda, and they eagerly executed his desires. And then, led by Sri Nityananda, they constantly chanted the name and glories of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Thus the whole atmosphere was spiritually highly surcharged. And whoever came, even to simply watch the happenings, would be so infected with the spiritual atmosphere that they also would become totally involved and oblivious to everything else. They only came to watch. You can't do that in Lord Nityananda's kirtan. You can't just be a spectator. Whatever the devotees desired, whatever they desired was immediately fulfilled. In this manner, the 3 months seemed to fly by in a moment, without anyone noticing. And then one day during these 3 months, Lord Nityananda felt a desire to decorate himself with ornaments and fine dress. Do we like that about Lord Nityananda? Huh? Do we like that Lord Nityananda likes to decorate himself with fine ornaments and dress? Yes or no?
Yes.
I didn't hear you.
Yes.
Yes. This is his pastime. He felt a desire to decorate himself with ornaments and fine dress. And as soon as he felt the urge, different people without prior intimation arrived bringing the fineries. All these gifts were very precious and of the best quality. The finest silks and exquisite gold jewelry studded with brilliant gems. The people came with their gifts and offered them with great reverence to the Lord, who tried on all the different ornaments. No one had ever seen such a wide variety of jewelry of all shapes and designs, gold ornaments with the gold intricately worked to give the most exquisite designs, studded with pearls, emeralds, and rubies. Sri Nityananda put on beautiful rings upon all his 10 fingers, and many brilliant necklaces of priceless gems decorated his neck and chest. Then, showing special favor to Lord Shiva, he slipped 2 Rudraksha necklaces around his neck. As he moved, the light set afire the gems set into his golden earrings. The silver anklets around his lotus feet tinkled pleasingly. White, cream, blue and yellow silks draped him in flowing grace. An enchanting sight it was indeed. Devotees had lovingly made beautiful elaborate garlands of fragrant flowers such as Malati, Madhavi, Mallika, Yuti, and Champak, and now they placed them over his head to sit delicately upon his chest with the shimmering gems. Isn't this a nice meditation on Lord Nityananda's beauty? With each motion, the garland swayed and the fragrance mingled with the aroma of fresh sandalwood paste that was applied to his body. The air was filled with a heavy sweet scent. Soft shining silks of different hues were tied around his head to make a multicolored turban. Bright flower garlands were neatly added to the turban to make a unique headgear. Sri Nityananda's happy face exuded enough irresistible glowing charm to overshadow the brilliance of 1,000,000 moons. How many moons? 1,000,000. Now, smiling, he constantly chanted the name of the Lord. His lotus-eyed glance roved the room and released in every heart the floodgate of love of Krishna. 2 iron rods that shone like silver stood on either side of his throne. He held one in his hand, just as Balaram holds his plow. His associates, who were actually expansions of the cowherd boys of Braja, they took up the various ornaments and instruments that usually decorate them as they go grazing the cows. And thus they dressed themselves with armlets, belts, anklets, and necklaces. They tied horns, flutes, and reeds to their belts, and they looped the ropes for tying cows around their shoulders. Then Sri Nityananda went out with all his associates as if going to graze the cows. And they visited the houses of all the Vaishnavas residing on both banks of the Ganga. Immersed in the ocean of ecstasy within himself, the Lord blessed everyone with his association. And on his sight, the people were helplessly drawn to him, captivated by his power and beauty. Sri Nityananda is the embodiment of all transcendental mellows, representing both the holy name and the Supreme Godhead himself. So even the atheists and the agnostics, upon seeing him, they began to offer prayers. Atheists and agnostics, when they saw him, they began to offer prayers, feeling an urge in their melted hearts to offer everything to him. The most munificent Lord showers causeless mercy upon all. Now wherever he went, whatever he did, Sri Nityananda was constantly absorbed in some kirtan. And moreover, when he began dancing and singing in kirtan, he sent everyone reeling in spirals of divine exaltation. Even young children, even the young children exhibited wonderful powers in his presence. Now listen to this, what happened to the children. Children from ordinary households manifested such strength that they uprooted big trees whilst roaring loudly like thunderbolts. And they said, "I am a cowherd boy, Gopal." And then they would run here and there. Hundreds tried to hold these children, but they failed to do so. Certainly these were extraordinary feats for mere children. They chanted jubilantly, "Shri Krishna Chaitanya Jai Nityananda." What did they chant? Shri Krishna Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Again.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Once more.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Who was chanting this?
Children.
The children. So Sri Nityananda relished these pastimes, and he made the children perform acts that are even more extraordinary. You want to hear even more extraordinary? Okay. One particular child fasted for over a month, without any difficulty, leaving everyone in the village wondering in amazement. Associating with the Lord, the children relished every part of his transcendental pastimes, and they often entered into complete ecstatic trances. However, the Lord was like a guardian angel to the children, and he was their constant guide and protector. He treated them like a father to a son, and oftentimes feeding them with his own hands. Some of them he kept by his side, binding them with his love. But sometimes as a disciplinarian, he would even beat them all while laughing loudly. Would you like to be beaten by Lord Nityananda?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
No, some of you are very frightened. You didn't say yes.
Yes.
So, one day, the Lord decided to visit the home of Srila Gadadhar Das. You're going to hear who is this person, Gadadhar Das. Amazing, amazing associate of Lord Nityananda. So the Lord decided to visit the home of Srila Gadadhar Das to convey his feeling of great affection for him. Srila Gadadhar was a very elevated Vaishnava who was always absorbed in the ecstatic mood of who? The Braja Gopis. Yeah. And placing a water pot filled with Ganga water upon his head, he would go around vending. Who wants to buy cow's milk? Such was his absorption in the mood of Braja. So a deity of Bala Gopal, possessing most exquisite, charming features and dressed in fineries, was worshipped in Gadadhar's home temple, Bala Gopal. Sri Nityananda, upon seeing Bala Gopal in Gadadhar's home temple, immediately picked him up from the altar and pressed him tightly to his breast. The devotees loudly chanted the holy name in jubilation upon this momentous occasion as they beheld Ananta Shesha, Nityananda, pressing Bal Gopal to his heart. Sri Nityananda instantly entered a state of ecstatic trance, and roaring like a lion, he began to dance. The especially gifted Sri Madhava Ghosh then started to sing in a very sweet voice. And hearing his song, which described the pastimes of Krishna levying taxes from the gopis, Sri Nityananda was overwhelmed with the surge of divine emotions. And thus the Lord engaged in ecstatic pastimes with the most fortunate Gadadhar Das, who never forgot for a moment that he was actually a gopi. The Lord continued to dance so gracefully that it is impossible to describe his lissom movements. He manifested all the ecstatic symptoms and the transformations of ecstatic emotion in Krishna Prem. His movements were like flashes of lightning, yet charming and delicate. The expressions with his eyes and his eyebrows were subtle, and he always kept a mild smile playing upon his lips. The movements of his head were expertly done, like a seasoned classical dancer knowing the correct nuances to express the various transcendental moods. And then bringing his exquisite feet together, he would pirouette and jump with ease and gradually flowing and gracefully flowing movements. He was the all-merciful Lord, so whoever he looked at, all the men and women felt drawn into an ocean of indescribable bliss. And such was the impact of his benign glance that every recipient lost all sense of time, body, and matter, and experienced only an overwhelming joy. The highest quality of pure bhakti aspired for by only the best of yogis and philosophers was being received freely by ordinary mortals by the infinite grace of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. I'm only going to read about maybe maximum 10 minutes more, because I know that everyone is patiently waiting for something very extraordinary. So now, here, Vrindavan Das Thakur is telling that the highest quality of pure bhakti that is aspired for by only the best of yogis and philosophers was being received freely by ordinary mortals, by the infinite grace of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Yes, this is aspired for by the highest yogis. Ordinary persons were receiving that freely. By his mercy, further miracles also began to manifest. When a grown-up man, as strong as an elephant, has to fast for 3 days, he becomes weak, right? When a grown-up man has to fast for 3 days, he becomes weak. However, the children who had been fasting for a month, now when they dance, they seem to have more energy and stamina than the young lions. Although Sri Nityananda manifested such miraculous powers and effects by the illusory potency of the Lord, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, no one could understand the truth of the events. Sri Nityananda spent a few days more in the home of Gadadhar Das, drowning everyone in an ocean of transcendental bliss. Gadadhar Das felt the deepest divine exhilarations, and forgetting the external surrounding, he constantly chanted the holy name, and he tirelessly encouraged everyone to do the same. Now there's a very amazing pastime. This same personality, Gadadhar Das, is he in any kind of external consciousness? No. But in his village, there was a tyrannical Muslim Qazi. Okay, that's like a king. Tyrannical. In that same village, Muslim magistrate who was very strict and very fanatical. And out of hate and intolerance toward other religious practices, he had officially banned the performance of kirtan in public. And intoxicated with spiritual ecstasy arising from Sri Nityananda's divine association, Gadadhar Das. He was completely intoxicated. One night he made his way to the Qazi's house. And everyone was mortally fearful of the Qazi, but this night Gadadhar Das strode fearlessly to his residence. And never once did he stop chanting as he entered the house. And the Qazi's friends and the family members stared speechless in disbelief at Gadadhar Das. And Gadadhar Das said, "Where is that rascal Qazi? He had better chant Krishna's name, or I will sever his head." Then the Qazi came charging in, fuming with rage. But upon seeing Gadadhar Das, he calmed himself. The Qazi inquired, "Why have you come here, Gadadhar Das?" Gadadhar Das replied, "I have some things to discuss with you. Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda have incarnated in this age, and they have inspired the entire world to chant Krishna's holy name. Only you remain yet to chant. So, I have come to urge you to chant Sri Hari's name. The Lord's holy name is all auspicious and supremely beneficial, and I take responsibility for saving you from all sinful reactions if you simply chant." Now, although the Qazi was known to be very cruel, he was now speechless, and he was stupefied. Then smiling wanly, the king said, "Listen, Gadadhar Das, tomorrow I will certainly comply with your request to chant Hari Hari, but tonight please go home." And as soon as Gadadhar Das heard Sri Hari's name from the Qazi's mouth, then he became jubilant, and he said, "Why wait for tomorrow? Just now you have taken the Lord's name, and so now you are completely free from all sins and inauspiciousness." And saying this to the Qazi, Sri Gadadhar Das began to dance like a madman, clapping his hands, and then suddenly he turned around and he left, leaving a surprised Qazi still staring after him. And happily Gadadhar Das returned to his residence. So this Gadadhar Das was always absorbed in meditation upon Sri Nityananda. He is counted amongst the foremost of Sri Chaitanya's associates. This Qazi was considered so evil that no saintly person would even go near him. In fact, they said his close proximity would contaminate everyone. Yet Gadadhar Das showered his mercy even to such a demonic person as him. Gadadhar Das was able to make him temporarily forget his malicious ways and at once inspire him to take Krishna's holy name. So the truth is that one who is imbued with the love of Krishna can never be attacked by snakes, by tigers, or any wild beasts, or be burned by fire. The devotional surrender to Krishna for which Lord Brahma strives, and the intimate loving exchanges of the gopis of Vrindavan with Krishna were all manifest in the association of Sri Nityananda solely by his causeless mercy. Therefore, all of you, my brothers, please serve the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda, and by his infinite grace, one can attain the eternal shelter of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. And then after a few days passed, one day Lord Nityananda had the urge to see Srimati Sachi Mata. This is the last thing I'll read. He had the urge to go and see Sachi Mata. Therefore, he left the next day, journeying toward Navadvip with his associates. On the way, he came to a village called Karadaha Gram. And he first went to the home of Purandara Pandit. Now here, Nityananda danced in great jubilation with countless new gestures and postures. To properly describe his graceful and his lithe movements is impossible. Sri Purandar was also a great devotee who was already mad with the love of Krishna, and he became so inebriated with the prem ras, charged spiritual atmosphere, that like a lunatic, he climbed up on a tree and began to roar like a maddened lion. What did he roar like?
A maddened lion.
What does that sound like? No. All of you roar. I want a roar from everyone's mouth like a maddened lion. What is it? Okay. Then another devotee present named Chaitanya Das. He had become so surcharged with spiritual ecstasy that he was oblivious of everything around him. And he ran into the nearby forest and chased away the wild beasts with his rumbling roars. And when he saw a tiger, he jumped on his back. The tiger was stunned and helpless, unable to do anything. Such is the potency and the mercy of Sri Krishna. He then picked up a huge python. He cradled it on his lap and fondled it gleefully as if it were a toy. Then, just as earlier with the tiger, Chaitanya Das was absolutely fearless. All these miracles were taking place by the mercy of Sri Nityananda, who is so magnanimous, so loving and protective of his devotees. And by this mercy, Sri Nityananda's associates feel no terror even from wild, hostile beasts, and they are easily rewarded with the rarest of prem ras, which is extremely difficult to attain even for Lord Brahma. Yes. So I'm just going to skip a little bit to when he met Sachi Mata, because it tells now about a few more devotees, but our time has ticked, so I'm observing what I told. Yes. So first of all, Sri Nityananda then traveled for a few days, arriving at Shantipur, and then he went directly to the home of his beloved compatriot, Advaita Acharya. Sri Advaita Acharya felt an indescribable pleasure spreading throughout his heart upon seeing Nityananda. Then roaring loudly, Hari Hari, Sri Advaita offered repeated obeisances and circumambulated Sri Nityananda. And in a loving embrace, Advaita encircled his arms around the Lord, and he bathed him in his cascading tears of joy. Both of them were almost unconscious with overwhelming spiritual emotions as loving exchanges welled up in their hearts. Then, tight in one another's embrace, they rolled about in the courtyard, and then both struggled to be the first to touch the other's feet. Each of them roared continuously like 1,000 lions. How many lions?
1,000.
Unable to contain their ecstatic madness. And finally, after a long time, and having questioned themselves, they sat down. Then Advaita Acharya folded his hands and began to pray to the Lord in sublime pleasure. He said, Your transcendental form is saturated with eternal joy, and hence you are named Nityananda. You are the embodiment of the transcendental qualities of Sri Chaitanya and the cause of liberation of the conditioned souls. You are the only shelter and the firm pillar of religion, unmoved by even the destructive forces of total dissolution. You teach the science of love of Krishna, devotional service to Sri Chaitanya. You are truly the solid main trunk of the family tree of Sri Chaitanya, possessing the fullest spiritual potency. You are the supreme teacher of all the devotees of the Lord, such as Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Narada Muni, and so on. And then he went on continuing to glorify Lord Nityananda. Now, sometimes they argue. Right? But here, Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that the arguments and the verbal fights that are sometimes seen between Nityananda and Sri Advaita Acharya are actually just mock play, performed in a spirit of deep camaraderie affection for each other, and undoubtedly unfathomable by all. But very few can comprehend the actual essence of Sri Advaita's words. So unquestionably, Advaita is non-different from the Supreme Lord, yet now Nityananda and he spend intimate moments together discussing the topics of Sri Krishna's pastimes, and thus their attachment and respect for one another even increased its unlimited nature. Sri Nityananda finally begged permission from Sri Advaita to leave, and he proceeded to Navadvip. And now upon reaching Navadvip, where did he go? Sachi Mata. Sri Nityananda went directly to meet Srimati Sachi Mata and offered obeisances at her feet. Seeing Sri Nityananda, Sachi Mata was overcome with immense happiness, and she said, "My dear son, you are truly the super soul who knows everything. I was yearning to see you, and immediately you have appeared from nowhere. Who can know your true self? Now please stay in Navadvip for some time, so I can see you once in every 10 days or so. I am an unfortunate woman with a life full of sorrows, and so I yearn to see you. Now miraculously you have come to alleviate the suffering of this hapless woman and wipe away her tears." Lord Nityananda smiled gently as he listened to Sachi Mata's words. Sri Nityananda was not confused about spiritual potency and the position of Sachi Mata. He said to her, "Kindly listen, I," you know that's her nickname, I, A-I. That's Sachi Mata's nickname. Did you know that? What's her nickname? I. Yes. I don't know. So, he said to her, he said, "Kindly listen, I. You are the universal mother. Universal mother. The purpose of my coming to Navadvip is to see you. I also have a strong desire for your transcendental association. And so now I will remain in Navadvip in accordance with your instruction." And after thus paying his respects to Sachi Mata, the Lord began to roam about in Navadvip in great jubilation and anticipation. Sri Nityananda gathered his associates and went about to every house in Navadvip performing congregational chanting. He was in constant ecstasy as he performed incessant Sankirtan. And the Lord, dressed in a very special and attractive way that enchanted everyone, he wrapped many colored silk clothes around his head like a Maharaja, like a king. And on top of this elaborate turban wore strands upon strands of sparkling ornaments and delicate flower garlands. His chest was covered with innumerable glittering gold necklaces, studded with many pearls and priceless gems. Golden earrings set with shiny white pearls gently dangled from his ears. Bejeweled armlets and bracelets graced his hands and his arms. His whole body was covered with countless jewelry of priceless value. Different parts of his body were exquisitely decorated with designs of sandalwood. He looked and often acted just like Bal Gopal of Vrindavan. So, and this is the last thing I'll read. Sometimes overcome by ecstatic emotion, Sri Nityananda would pick up an iron rod. Have you seen the painting of Lord Nityananda holding a rod? Yes. With that rod, what is he doing? He is piercing Kali with that rod. So, sometimes overcome by ecstatic emotion, Sri Nityananda would pick up an iron rod and hold it with both hands. All his fingers decorated with golden rings, multicolored silks draped all over him. Cane, flute, and horn were stuck in his belt with leisurely carelessness, and his very sight captured the minds of the people. His gait was like that of a royal elephant, and with every step his silver ankle bells jangled musically. The Lord's transcendental glances immediately invoked spiritual love of Krishna wherever they rested. And Nityananda moved about in the town of Sri Chaitanya's birth with great pleasure, dressed in this wonderful fashion to give joy to the hearts of everyone. Gaur Premanande, Sri Nityananda Rama ki jai, Jai Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat ki jai, Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Nityananda Rama ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. So I just wanted to mention, because I mentioned my Srila Prabhupada in the beginning. But when I saw Srila Prabhupada the very first time, I had to wait 1 year. Because when I joined the temple in August of 1970, Prabhupada just left to come here to India and start his movement here. And those of us who joined during that time, we couldn't get initiated by Prabhupada. He wasn't doing it by letter or anything like that. So we had to wait for 11 months to see Srila Prabhupada. But during that year, we were chanting and dancing 6 hours a day on the streets of Detroit and then later in Chicago. The coldest city in North America practically. Through the ice, the snow, everything. 6 hours a day. 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. And I can tell you that although we had not personally seen Prabhupada, we heard from others who saw him. Like older godbrothers who were like 6 months or 1 year, they were devotees and they had met Prabhupada, they got initiated. So that was our association. So now when we went to Detroit, because my godbrother Bhagavan Das Prabhu, he arranged for Prabhupada to be flown from Los Angeles to Detroit in a separate, because they were going around the world with a, like non-stop around the world ticket. But then he sent a separate ticket. So Prabhupada had to fly from Los Angeles to Detroit and then back to Los Angeles to resume. So you can imagine what was going on in our hearts when we went to the airport to greet Srila Prabhupada. And the reason why I'm remembering what I'm about to tell you is because what we just read about Sri Nityananda Prabhu, how he was decorated, and the jewelers and all other, they all used to bring and decorate him so beautifully. And although Srila Prabhupada was sannyasi, but he had just come back from India. So when we were waiting in the area where the passengers come directly off the plane, and then they come through that door. There's like 200 devotees with kirtan going on. In those days we could get permission to do that. And then all of these passengers came off completely bewildered, what's going on here? And then finally a devotee came through the door and he said, Prabhupada's coming. Prabhupada's coming now. So all of us we're chanting and we're looking, and suddenly Prabhupada appeared in the doorway, brilliant like the sun. Actually, it was an amazing experience. And Prabhupada was smiling. And you've seen many photos of Prabhupada smiling. Prabhupada's smiling was incredible. It was so incredible. And each time that he smiled, there was a difference in his smile, So he was smiling because he saw he had left America. He's gone. And now all these new people have come and joined his Hare Krishna movement. And then Prabhupada began walking with his cane. Now, Prabhupada was dressed in very rich, beautiful colored, darker saffron, almost like orange, but darker saffron color. Beautiful, beautiful silks he was dressed in, shining. And Prabhupada used to sometimes put rings that people would give him, like that, Prabhupada had his cane, his black cane, which had a silver ornate handle on that cane. And he looked so radiant. And as he walked forward, slowly, and looking at all of us, and everyone was drenched completely, everyone's faces. I've seen photos of it also. I've seen photos that devotees took. Everyone was weeping and weeping to see Prabhupada. And then Kirtanananda, who was one of the only sannyasis at that time, he came forward to garland Prabhupada. And Prabhupada embraced him and he began crying like a little boy. And then Bhagavan came and garlanded Srila Prabhupada. And he embraced him. And he also began weeping like a little boy. So what I witnessed there was like what we just read about Lord Nityananda, because Prabhupada is the Shaktivesh avatar of Nityananda Shakti. And that's how this movement spread throughout the whole entire world, by this one pure devotee who was sent from Goloka Vrindavan to do this, who is the exalted disciple of Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, who was sent from the spiritual world to give a push to this movement as the son of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who was descended from the spiritual world. So these personalities, they are completely empowered. And we also got to witness another personality who our Srila Prabhupada requested that he should now help all of his disciples. And who is that? Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Srila who? Gurudev. And he also manifested such potency and power going all throughout the world, completely capturing everyone's heart wherever he went. I was so fortunate. Sajan Maharaj, also Charu Chandrika Didi, going so many of his tours all around the world, being with him. And she would also always ask questions. She was the second question Rani. So, in this way, on Lord Nityananda's transcendental appearance day, we are so fortunate to be here in Sri Navadvip Dham and hearing these pastimes. So thank you for giving your oral reception, even though it was, you had to, conquer over other needs and desires. But now I think we're going to, what are we going to do now?
Abhishek.
Oh, Abhishek. Okay. So we'll have the Abhishek ceremony of Gaur Nitai. And then after that, then there will be Bhagavat Prasadam of Gaur Nitai. And everyone will become very imbued with transcendental Krishna Prem. Gaur Premanande. Jai Nityananda Ram Ki.
Brain can sing one bhajan. Brain can mantra for
No, they because they're waiting. Well, he can do it during the bathing, you mean?
while we are
Definitely. Yeah.
Like with the
Thank you, Mom.
Hare Krishna.
So we don't actually have a conch shell. Like we have a tiny conch
Okay.
shell. I'm not sure if it would really work with that tiny conch shell. Probably not. Right?
Probably not. I think
Like
it's.
we just have.
Yeah. We'll just use the cups.
Okay.
We can touch the conch shell to the cups.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure. What's behind that? What is that? The word. We don't have a conch shell. So we only have a tiny conch shell. Okay, so the foreign substances
Do you want to tell him? You want to do kirtan during the... Oh, okay. You have to fight with one another and wrestle.
Very nice. Alright. We lost hunger, we lost sleep, we lost everything just by hearing.
Yeah,
I don't feel anything.
I know. Chaitanya Bhagavat. Oh my God, incredible.
Yeah, we can actually.
Where's my hat? It was here.
Possible, I think.
Alright, you're